Hi there. I've been meaning to do this sort of thing for a while, and since I'm in Denver today, this is an opportunity for me to begin this process. And I thought I'd do a take here and see what happens. I'm in Denver, as I said. I'm in a class. I'm going to learn today and tomorrow some of the best ways to reach people and teach, my topic from a stage. There's people from all over, from all kinds of walks of life, from medicine, from health, from there's personal coaches here. There's a few financial advisors here. There's people that are professional speakers here, and we're all learning how to present a message from a stage that allows folks to learn and take it away. So next 2 days, today and tomorrow, I'm going to be in class pretty much 16 hours. They're very, very intense days. But the travel happened yesterday. So I was in SFO and I flew to Denver Airport, and in SFO I noticed that nothing was different than any other time I've traveled. Same numbers of people, gates were all full, the chairs were all full at the gates, with people going to load on the planes. There might have been a few fewer elderly traveling, which I think makes sense given COVID-19. But it looks to me like planes are almost full or almost full. So I was a little shocked that nothing looked any different. But I had two kind of reactions. First, I wondered if we're all asleep. Like, did no one read the research on this? Has no one read? I mean, I struggled. Should I come? Should I cancel it? Should I not come? I decided to come, but it doesn't look like many people have decided to stay. And I realized that that's an issue with the virality of this virus, how easy it's spreading. And we don't know if we have it. We don't know if we've been in contact with it for 5 days and those kinds of things. But the second thing I thought was that I was kind of impressed with people that they were kind of going about their lives. The simple fact that folks saw that life must go on, and we have to kind of power through this stuff. And this may play out in your heads as well. Lots of efforts are being made at containment. The U.S. response is kind of laughingly behind, way less draconic than, say, China or Italy. But last night's efforts by 45 completely missed the mark by an insane margin. And there's a lot of details on these things, and I'm not really here to talk about the details, but I want to share three quick things. First of all, the virus is here. It's going to spread further until it burns itself out with inside the population. This is probably going to be tragic in many circumstances, and we're going to hear a lot of anecdotes, and they're going to be horrific. But it will also, with high probability, be far less than those worst case scenario statistics we're reading. The U.S. market and the U.S. economy has been humming around impervious to anything for about 11 years. It's the longest run expansion we've ever experienced on record. And now it's ended. As of today, markets have dropped past their 20% mark, and it's a bear market, a technical bear market. The expansion has ended. Part of me thinks that we just needed a reason. We needed a reason for this thing to slow down. Everyone called for it to end over the last 11 years. It didn't, and now it has. And this is the most important thing I want to share. And how it ended or when it ended, it's never predictable. There's no bell at the top. But this is the most important part for our purposes as investors. The human cost, I'm not talking about that. The expansion ended, but what happens after expansion ends? What happens? A new one begins. And this cycle repeats. So we haven't seen the end of the slowdown yet. We don't know exactly how deep this is going to go. But if you recall our conversations over the last few years, specifically in the last 2 years, markets are volatile. It's the reality of the game of investing. They move quickly at some times, and they're almost always unpredictable in which direction they're going to move. You never know how they're going to respond to different economic stimulus or different stimulus from the environment. They're not predictable in any kind of consistent way in the short term. In the long term, what we see is, on average, once a year, you see a 14% decline. That's once every single year, peak to trough decline. Every 3.5 years, you see something on the order of 20%. Every 5 or 6 years, you see something that is larger than 20%, a big bear, and that's on average 33%. So every 5 or 6 years, we get something like this, and it's been 11 years. So these things happen literally all the time. We don't ever know at the outset how bad they're going to get. We don't ever know what the catalyst will be. We don't really ever know how long they're going to last or what's going to make them turn. But it always turns, and this time is never any different. That being said, we do have a plan. We have some things that we're going to suggest. The first thing, for those of you who are taking withdrawals, we're going to suggest that if you have cash on the sidelines, we stop taking withdrawals out of investment portfolio and we start taking them out of cash on the sidelines. For those of you that's not possible and we are going to take withdrawals out of the portfolio, we're going to take it out of the non-equity portions of the portfolio. Okay, we're not going to be doing a rebalance within the portfolio, but we're not going to be pulling equities out. We're going to be selling things that are up right now. The second thing we're going to do, and this is there's no rush for this, but since we've hit the bear market, we're down 20%, we're going to start looking to do an opportunistic rebalance. What that means is those things in our portfolios that are up a little, because we do have things that are up, our fixed income portions of our portfolio are doing well, and we're going to sell some of those things, and we're going to reuse some of that money to buy some of the stuff that's down, because we know that this will recover. And in that process of recovery, it'll benefit us in the long term if we pursue that general practice. Again, there doesn't need to be any rush here. This issue is going to linger for a while. We don't know when the market's going to turn. We may see a surprise discovery that is a solution to COVID. We may not. We may see somebody say, hey, we have a vaccine now. We may not for 6 months. But it will run its course. It will have an economic impact. Markets are predicting the economic impact. We actually don't know how bad the economic impact will be. Markets, as you can see, are predicting they're going to be pretty bad. And we actually don't know how the market's going to end the year. So this has happened a number of times in the past. Markets have gone down precipitously. It hasn't happened for us for about 11 years, so it comes as a bit of a surprise, even though we've been talking about it. And it came very, very quickly. So it's totally it's totally understandable that we are a bit scared by it. I'm not immune to the fear. I just have to return to what is the highest probability action I can take to protect myself and my family and you and your family in the coming months, maybe a year. Now, I know it's difficult to see past the catastrophe, but we have to actually start thinking about what happens next. What might happen, and this is the kind of actions we're taking. So for now, I'm going to say everyone should wash your hands, follow the instructions of the World Health Organization and the CDC. Take care of yourself, take care of your families. We are going to implement what's it called? Zoom meetings for people that don't want to come into the office. I will probably keep coming to the office. We may actually begin working remotely, some of us. We do have a few folks in our office that are in a higher risk category. So we may start working from home. That's still being worked out inside our office. We're only 7 or 8 of us, and we kind of know where we go, and we're working on that. So please take care of yourself, and we're working on this. If you have any questions, I'll be back on Monday. The only reason I'm doing this today is because I'm in Denver and I won't be able to spend a lot of time on the phone. Otherwise, I'd be calling. The office is probably going to be calling in the next couple days to talk with you, but I'll be in on Monday, and I'm happy to chat with anybody. And I'll be done today at about 5:30, so I'm happy to talk at 5:30 Denver time, maybe 6. I'll be able to take some calls at that point, or reach out to some folks. Just let people in the office know if you really need to hear from me. Otherwise, you can hear from me on Monday. Take care. Thank you for listening.